Start, Lucy?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, wherever you are in on your part of the world. My name is Abele Ago, and I'm the Vice President of WAAW Foundation. I am also a teacher. Yes, I am a teacher in at Grand Prairie ISD in Texas. But my focus is teacher training, coaching teachers, and leading my team. All right. So today's topic is on leadership. I know you guys have been doing great with all the skills you've been learning in the past about 2-3 weeks now, I suppose. Kudos to all of you. I've been hearing all the great things you guys are doing. Before we do go into leadership, I just want to remind you that each and every one of us are leaders wherever you are. You don't have to wait for that position to show any of the skills that we're going to learn today. All right, so before we go into it, as soon as I can get my my slideshow to move, if you can see my screen, what is your personal understanding of leadership? And there are two ways we can do this. You can put your answers in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and either myself or Lucy can call on you. So I'm going to be monitoring the chat and the participants as well. All right, so let's go for it. What is your personal understanding of leadership? Either you put your response in the chat or you can raise your hand. Oh, you all are too tired? Oh, we're typing. Oh, we are quiet. Okay, as long as I can get my mouse to work. All right, so let me see the chat. Taking responsibility of guiding a group of people. We are typing, absolutely, so I can wait a few minutes. Taking the responsibility of guiding a group of people. That absolutely, okay. That's a leader when you decide to take that responsibility, even without being called. Leadership is about being a good role model. I will totally agree as well. Being a good role model. So you don't have to be a manager or even in a position of leadership to be a good role model. Absolutely correct. Leadership to me is a result from having knowledge that others don't have. That is absolutely true, but another great quality of a good leader is understanding that they don't possess all knowledge, and it's okay to defer to other people to learn something. That is true. Leaders involve serving others. Absolutely, servant leadership, as we call it. It's very important, even as a leader, to serve other people. Give a line that a group of people follow for the common purpose. That's a visionary, absolutely, that is true. When you're able to outline a vision for people to follow, that also that's a great leadership quality. Awesome, thank you so much for all of you that responded. We're going to move along right now. Hopefully you all completed the what are your true colors. If you didn't, you might want to get onto it because we're going to be looking at, before we go into leadership qualities, we want to learn about ourselves and about other people and understand how to work well with others. So by now, most of you should at least know which color that you are, and we're not going to delve into that right now. All right, so in a survey of 20,000 CEOs, the following were the topmost picks of the most important qualities of effective and productive employees. And here is the kicker, guys. Being ethical was number one. Isn't that interesting? People want to know that they have staff that are, that have integrity, that have great work ethics. And then number two is team oriented. If you're not able to work with other people, it is hard. So the top two qualities are being ethical and team oriented. We need employees with communication and interpersonal skills. So you can have all those great website development skills, your app skills, all those fantastic skills that most people don't have. But when it's hard for people to communicate with you and work with you, there is a chance that you may not last long in that organization. So let's keep that in mind as we are gaining our technical skills. Our soft skills, like the leadership and building your resumes and things like that, are definitely very important as well. So it's easy to get players, easy. It's quite, we can recruit the best of the best, but the hardest part is to get them to work together. That is usually the hardest part of organizations. All right, so what feelings do you usually have when you're with these colors, blue, or gold, orange, and green? And what benefits are there to take it? There's so many personality tests out there, people. There, there is the Myers-Briggs, there's the DISC personality test, so many of them out there. What are the benefits of taking those tests? The number one benefits for all of them usually is understanding who you are, understanding other people, and finding a way to work with other people, especially in crisis situation. Because if all of us are agreeing with each other, there is no problem. And in fact, there's a saying that goes, if two people are agreeing all the time, then one of them is not needed. So conflict is something that will occur anywhere, at work, at home, amongst your friends. It's a normal way of life. If you all are agreeing all the time, 100% every time, then one person is not needed. All right. So the primary, when you did your colors, you'll find out that you rated, we all have those 4 colors in us, right? But your dominant color, the number one, the most dominant one, your primary color, the characteristics is a spot that indicates where you are most comfortable operating. And those are the attributes that you use when you are truly being yourself. That is who you truly are. And then your second color also has a major influence on the first. And in some cases, it shines as brightly as your dominant color. For me personally, I have 2 colors with the same number, so they both, so that means I can whip any of them at any point in time, depending on my situation. And your third color usually doesn't make much of an impact, it's the third one. And then because these characteristics are, the fourth one is the one that is least natural to you. That's the one that is least natural to you. You might sometimes wish to have it because, generally when we lack something, we wish to have it. Or you might condemn people who would have it because we usually do not understand what we don't know. So these are all the letters that you had. These are all the color connotations. And I'm sure by now you may have figured that out as well. But I just wanted to show this to you. And not to worry, after this training, I'm going to give you a document that shows, that talks about each of those colors. Okay, so don't worry about that. So your blue people. Now, whatever blue decides to do with their lives, it must involve people. These are the very emotional ones. They're the touchy-feely ones. They're the ones that say, oh, but how will so and so person feel if we do this? Oh, but how will everyone else feel if you say that? They're very, very compassionate, very emotional, and they definitely care about people. So they're optimistic, passionate, enthusiastic, imaginative, and cost-oriented. They usually are romantic people. They romanticize everything. They have a need to be unique, and they're cooperative. They have a strong sense of spirituality, people-oriented, and peacemakers. Now, how do we communicate with the blue people? When blue listen, they focus more than words. They're looking at your tone of voice. They're looking at your body language. Your message will not get through fully to a blue if you do not establish a relationship first. Blues don't want to let anyone down, so we should be wary of overwhelming them. So don't put too much on their plate because they want to please you, especially when they have that relationship with you. All right, so they may portray opposite of what they are feeling, and they may get frustrated at the insincerity of the, hey, how are you ritual. They don't want it to be a ritual. They don't want it to be automatic. They want it to be deep and meaningful. All right? Okay. All right, so the world versus blue, creating stress for blues, breaking promises, too much negativity around them, deception, not discussing what is occurring. All these are ways that you can actually create stress for the blue person. Now, how do we succeed with the blue people? You spend quality one-on-one time with them. Generally, you build a relationship with a blue person. And yes, I know if you're green right now, or if you're green or gold, you're like, oh my goodness, really? Are we going to spend this much time with these people? Seriously. So, and I get it, because I'm not a blue, by the way. The blue is my third option. So I understand that, but hang on there for me, okay? So as good as gold, let's talk about the gold people, for instance. They're usually very prepared. They love to learn, they love to plan, very detailed oriented, they're punctual, they have a strong sense of duty, most comfortable with a very structured environment. They believe in policies, values, traditions, they're conscientious, conservative and stable, well-organized people as well. Now, how do we communicate with our gold people? Gold can come across usually as very businesslike. Even when it's, and I'm a goal person, so I can definitely relate to this, right? I make a call, I'm trying to call a team member, and the first thing I want to do is go into the business. But I've learned from all the blues that, you need to stop. You need to say, how are you today? You need to, genuinely ask for their concerns and all of that before you move on. But our natural tendencies as a goal, because I'm one, is to go straight into that conversation and get the work done. All right, so sometimes we also ask, can we do it the way we've always done it? And goal usually listens for details. And goal people are thinking right now, and excuse me, let me go back to that. Slow down, I'm still writing notes on the blues. Exactly, because the goal people are saying, really? I have to do all of that for the blues because I don't have time for that, So the world versus the goal people. If you want to create stress for goals, be incomplete, give ambiguous tasks or answers, be disorganized, try and do too many things have too many things going on at one time, waste, non-conformity, changing details, haphazard attitude, and lack of structure and direction. Now, if you want to succeed with goals, though, remember to be on time. Try to be extra efficient and organized. They are generous, but they like things to be, the way they are, or at least organized. Do what you say you will do, be dependable and loyal, and respect their need for security. All right, so let's go to the orange people. These are the go-lucky people. Hey, let's have fun. Oh, we're working, really? Those are the kind of people orange people are. So if you've watched Winnie the Pooh, and the character Tigger, who is the tiger in the character in that show or movie. If you all know who Tigger is, Tigger wants to, he wants to be in everybody's business. He gets around and very little stresses him out, But the introverted orange is Winnie the Pooh. And if you know the character as well, he's cool, calm, collected, and he doesn't really get stressed about anything except where his auntie is. So hopefully this analogy will kind of help you understand who the orange person is. They're very energetic. They desire change. They want to disrupt what we know, So they usually orange people usually get gold people mad. So why the gold people want to, look, we're doing it this way. It has worked. Why do you want to change it? The orange person is saying, can't we do it better? Isn't there another way we can do this? All right. They're usually playful, master navigators. They're natural entertainers, and they push boundaries. They're the ones that say so, and what's going to happen if we do that? The world is not going to break, or worst case scenario. That's who the orange people are. They accept challenges. They're impulsive. They're spontaneous. Let's just do this, please. Let's just do this. And I have one of my very good friends that I work with. She's a typical gold, and we're bouncing off things amongst ourselves. And here I am saying, no, you don't want to get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And she's saying, oh yeah, let's do this. After all, we can always take permission we can always apologize after we've done it. That's who the orange person is. They definitely also appreciate immediate feedback, and they are more productive in non-structured environments. All right, so oranges are confident, loud, and very casual people. They are very now-oriented. Let's get it done now. They usually listen for entertainment, usefulness, and relevance, and they're constantly looking for opportunities. They want forthright communication. They are trying to accomplish a goal with all communication, and when trying to talk to an orange, capture your information into bite-sized pieces. Give orange choices and ask for their suggestion. If you leave them out, they're going to, you're not going to get the best out of them. All right, let's see. Creating stress for oranges. Too much responsibility. Remember, bite-sized work. Redundancy. Doing something over and over and over. And come on, can we do it differently? Unnecessary deadlines, rules and regulations. Remember, they work better in structured environment. While your gold works better with a structured environment. So you can imagine having to deal with those two people. You have an orange and a gold at the same time, and one wants structure and the other one doesn't. Am I going too fast? Let me see the chat box. Oh, you're gold. All right, I understand that. Okay. Rules and regulations, being stuck at a desk, how-to directions, too much attention to product and not enough to performance and results, and abstract concepts. That's how you create stress for oranges. Succeeding with an orange. Be active and don't slow them down because they want to keep going. Be spontaneous and fun. Yes, we have to work, we get that, but can we have a little fun while we're working? Compete in fun when appropriate. Be adventuresome and optimistic. Be energetic and be ready to go. That's your orange. All right, so let's go to the next person. Are you feeling the greens? Okay, let's see. Let's talk about the greens for a second here. They are problem solver. They have the why mentality. They're very complex. They're standard setters. They're cool, calm, collected, and approach interpersonal relationships in a very logical manner. All right. So they're quite intellectual. Work is play, play is work, need for independence and private time. They're driven by competence. How much do I bring to the table? And if I'm not able to bring anything to the table, it makes them really sad. And green, like I said, gold, I'm also a green. And my numbers are actually equal with gold and green. They're driven, they're perfectionists, and they're quite analytical. Communicating with greens. Greens communicate for the purpose of gaining or sharing information. Their favorite line is, and your point is. Oh my goodness. I mean, if my husband has to collect a penny for every time I say, and your point is, I bet he's probably a millionaire right by now. And your point is, can you get to your point very quickly? Green listens for information and want to know the purpose of that particular communication. What are we doing here? Why? What's the purpose of all of this? Greens usually don't show emotion. And when talking to a green, be prepared to defend your position. Absolutely. Greens are thinking, how will this help me again with people? And I don't need help with people. Why would I? Exactly, because I figured this out. I'm competent. All they need to do is to see how competent I am, and all things will be well. And we know that all things are usually not well, because when you're dealing with a blue, you need to know how to help people or how to deal with people. All right, so the world versus greens. Creating stress for greens, not being in charge. If you're the boss, you better be the boss. If you're the leader, you better be the leader. Lack of independence. Elaborate use of adjectives. So you see where they're going to be struggling with the blues right now because, oh, but she's so kind. Oh, but no, we don't have time for that. Let's get to the point. What do we need to do? Incompetence, they don't like it. Emotional displays, lack of options, inability to use or display knowledge. Small talk, no, we don't have time for that. Routine, social functions. If you want to succeed with greens, be aware of their curiosity about life. Give things that challenge their problem-solving abilities. Respect their need for independence. Know that they are caring, even though they may not show their feelings much. And please respect their ideas because it really is important to them. All right. Why is all this important? Why do you have to spend your time figuring out, whose color is what? Now, think about your possible future careers. Will they involve people? Will they involve communication? I don't know anyone who works in a silo. I don't know anyone who works in a box without anyone. You will have to deal with people. And understanding and working well with others is super important to your role as a leader, wherever you are in the leadership spectrum. All right. I believe, why the true colors? Color watching is only one filter through which to view human behavior. It's just one of the so many that we have out there. And true color awareness should alter your interactions as you become more aware. The more you know, the better. And when we know, we do better, right? Now, learning the true color language and customs of others not only lowers tension and resistance level, but it also demonstrates utmost respect. Now I know you're thinking about me, and I want to now think about your situation as well. Now we can have a more collegial conversation, and it definitely helps to build a relationship, especially when you want to be an effective leader. All right, so discussion questions and some reflections for us. Again, like I said, you can put it in the chat, you can raise your hand and ask. Hopefully I didn't go too fast because I do have a lot more, some more stuff to cover. But what color are you? Do you agree with the analysis? Do you see others in this analysis? And is understanding other people's colors make a difference in your relationship? All right, so now I'm going to the chat, and I'll be waiting patiently to see your responses on the chat. Again, like I said, please, especially if you're coming in right now, you will be getting a document that has the different colors and their analysis, okay, after this training. So don't worry about that, especially if you're coming in now. All right, I see quite a number of us are gold. Oh my goodness. And most technical people are actually gold. Let me even say that. I am blue. All right, Marius, we got a lot of work to do. We have to be very patient with you. I'm a blue and next green. How, I don't know. All right, Lucia, why don't you know why you're blue and green? Blue is your dominant personality, and I'm not surprised about the fact that you're green. I am an orange, and I totally agree with the analysis. Absolutely. Okay, that's awesome. I'm still waiting for more people, please. Is anyone raising their hands to share? Lucy, can you tell? Because it's okay to also share. I mean, we don't always all have to type. So if you want to speak, if you really want to speak, you can raise your hand. And at this point, I think I'm just going to let Lucy to pick you. I'm gold, and yes, I agree. Okay. Absolutely, Zalia. I agree with you. I'm not sure if I pronounced your name right, but please excuse me if I didn't. I am blue and next orange and next green and lastly gold. Okay. I'm a gold, but have equal scores for green and orange. Okay. Knowing people's color is extra important. I absolutely agree. Boluwatife, I'm gold. I agree with the analysis. Absolutely. I am orange too. Okay. So, I mean, if your team members are here, it's important for you to start reading all of this from the chat to see what your teammates are saying, because they're going to be working on projects with your team members, and it's super important for you to understand who they are so that you can work better with them. All right, so we're going to move on. Thank you for all of you that responded. I truly appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go into, now that we know ourselves, we understand who we are, and hopefully we now have a little glimpse into how other people are. Let's go into 6 emotional leadership styles, all right? We have, so again, like almost everything, they're very different leadership styles have been coined out there. There are different theses or theories on leadership styles. But this leadership style is the one that was written by Daniel Goleman in 20. And what I like about it is that it encompasses almost everything that is out there, and it makes it really very, very, very clear. So we do have 6 leadership styles. You know, the commanding, do what I tell you. Your visionary, come with me. Your affiliative, people come first. And your democratic, what do you think? Your pace certain, do as I do now. And your coaching, try this. And we're going to look into each of these various leadership styles. And hopefully you all took a test. There was another link that was sent. And that link gives you, I think it gives you about 3 or 4. I don't remember right now, but at least it gives you your dominant style at least. Now, the good thing about all these leadership styles is that we can learn all the skills, and we can decide where and when to use all these leadership styles, okay? So your commanding person is your do what I tell you person. All right. They are very autocratic. They are bossy. These are the people that are usually, we call them very bossy. They almost threaten to punish, there's a subtle threat of punishment and tight control. And usually a lot of people don't like this, but sometimes it is very important because this type of style is best used in crisis situation. All right, so now how do you develop this style? This style is always usually very misused and should be used only when necessary. All right, so to work effectively in these high pressure situations, because that's when you really need this style, when there are high pressure situations, learn how to manage crisis, think on your feet, and make good decisions under pressure. That's how you're going to learn how to actually manage the style. All right. So for your visionary, these are the ones that a lot of people do like and a lot of people want to be. They use the authoritative leadership style that are very inspiring. They want to move people to a very common goal, right? These are people that they empathize with other people. They understand people's struggles. They want to bring you up and not down. They say, come with me. Let's do this. That is the visionary type person. And then when do you actually use this type of leadership? It's most effective when the organization needs a new vision. So when an organization is going through a change that they need a new vision, they're calling this type of leader who can, say, here is the pathway that we can go. Here is our vision. And if we want to move this organization from point A to B, this is what we can do. And then let's do it. These are the kind of, that's the type of leaders these people are. All right, so your affiliative leader is people come first. And your blues are most likely going to be found in this place, right? They promote harmony within the group. They promote harmony within the team. This style connects people together. They encourage inclusion and they like to resolve conflict. Emotions of others and have a very high value on people's emotional needs. You know that your oranges and not your oranges, my bad. Your greens and your golds are most likely not going to be fitted. They're going to have to work hard to do this. But your blues are naturally going to be fitting into this affiliative and harmonic type of personality. All right, so your democratic leader is the person that asks you, what do you think? They don't like to make decisions arbitrarily, right? They want to bring people along when they're making decisions. They want to ask you what you think. They want to ask for your input. They want to let you know that your ideas are important. So you know that the gold and the green like this type of leader because they value their competence. I want my ideas valued. So because of that, the democratic leader will work well with the golds and the greens. And then when do you need to use the style? You need to use the style when you're trying to push an idea. So when you're trying to push an idea to your team and you want to gain everybody's perspective, this is when you want to bring up the style as a leader. So your pace setting, this is your performance leader. We need all of us to be at our best performance. The focus on meeting goals and they expect excellence. They're usually excellent at what they do, and that's what they expect from their team. And like everything else, there might be some negative connotations to this because sometimes they forget that people are humans, right? And sometimes we don't bring our A game because of situations that are going around us. And usually the pace setter tends to forget that part. So what happens when do you need to do this? When the stakes are high. When your stakes are really high, not necessarily in a crisis situation. There is no crisis situation, but right now in our case, the stakes are very high and we need to achieve at our optimum best. That is when we bring the style up, okay? All right, so next is our coaching. This is the connecting leader. This is the one that their sole focus is to grow you. So this leader is saying to themselves, what can I do with this person so that when I'm no longer here, this person is able to work without me. So this is your coach. They're very empathic, encouraging, and focuses on developing others for their future success. And this style centers on having in-depth conversation with employers that may have little to do with the current work. Instead, they focus on long-term life goals. They not only focus on the organization's long-term goals, but they also focus on people's long-term goals, especially when they connect with the organization's mission. All right. And this style usually always have a positive impact on people because it's usually very motivating and establishes rapport and trust. And this is where orange people thrive here most of the time, because the orange person, they want to bring people along, so they usually always thrive here very much. All right. So we're going to have a pop quiz. I'm going to show you different scenarios, and then you're going what you learn. And before we go here, I'm going to go back so that if you haven't had time to look at this, especially if you're just joining us, you get a chance to look at each of this leadership styles, because we're going to look at different scenarios and determine what type of style that is. So I'm going to give you a moment to dwell on each slide so you can see. All right. So the visionary, your authoritative leader, come with me. That's the person that wants to outline the vision for the company and ask you, hey, come along and let's do this, okay? Your affiliative leader, people come first. Without the people, there is no organization, or there is no work, and there's definitely no team. So they try to connect people together and encourage inclusion and try to resolve conflict. Your democratic leader focuses on collaboration. Let's do this together. We're in this together. That's the kind of language you hear from them. Your pace setting, your performance leader, do as I do now. This is what we're doing right now, and we need to achieve this. No darling, as we like to say. There is no darling here. We need to get this right. Style of leadership. All right, the coaching says, try this. Let's try this and see if it works. If it doesn't, we move on to something else, all right? Their goal is to motivate people and create long-term achievers. That's their goal. All right, hopefully we now have a chance to have looked at all the different styles. Remember, some of these styles come naturally to you, and some of these styles you will have to work on it. That's what I want you to take away with at the end of this training. Some of these styles will come naturally to you, and some of them, you have to work on it. You also have to know when to use each of the styles. All right, so can you identify this leadership style? And I don't know how many of us are able to see the screen, but for the sake of those who cannot see the screen, I will be reading the screen. All right, so imagine that in order to reach some aggressive sales goals, you've decided to overhaul the way that your department connects with new clients. The techniques and processes you've developed are radically different from the ones that your people are used to. As you tell your team about the new process, you can't help but be excited. You believe that these changes will make a real difference to your results, and you want your people to succeed. Your team quickly picks up on your excitement and sincerity, and they get excited too. They know it's up to them to use the new system to make things happen, and they are willing to put in the extra work needed to learn new skills. All right, so who do you think this person is? I just need one or two people to just respond in the chat. And it's okay if we're not correct. Remember, we're all learning. Visionary. All right, so that I got a response that says visionary. All right, let's see. It's an authoritative leader, and I believe that is the same thing as visionary. Awesome. Thank you so much, whoever is responding, Marius. You are absolutely correct. All right, so next. After a difficult year, Sarah's boss has finally been asked to leave her department. Although she was proficient at her job, her management style was dictatorial. It didn't matter that she had to do, it didn't matter what she had to do or whose feelings she hurt. Meeting department goals was her top priority. Sarah's been asked to take over her position, and although she's excited about the opportunity, she's now in charge of a team that is emotionally battered and untrusting. Sarah decides to focus on her team's emotional needs before doing any work on department goals and future projects. Her first few meetings are just spent talking. She allows everyone to open up about how their old boss made them feel. Every person on the team is allowed time to vent. The group quickly realizes that although they went through their own tough times, they all experienced similar things. After 2 meetings, the atmosphere in the team is better and more open. Met first. The group is now ready to focus on new projects and goals. Can you identify this leadership style? Oh, we got some response. Give me a second. Democratic, affiliative. All right, let's find out. Affiliative, absolutely correct. And yes, affiliative and democratic can go hand in hand. I can actually see how we can think this is a democratic or affiliative leadership style, definitely. So I'm not, yeah, that is normal because they're both almost together. All right, so let's go to the next one. Jim, a new hire on your team is having trouble fitting to his new role. He's only been with the organization a month, but you can tell he's dissatisfied. The organization requires FaceTime at the office, and Jim misses the freedom of telecommuting as he did at his old job. You also get the feeling that he will like a position with more responsibility. You meet with Jim and you help him see that being in the office 5 days a week does have distinct advantages over telecommuting. For instance, showing up every day allows him to bond with the team and network with colleagues who could turn into strategic allies in the future. You also encourage him to use the organization's immense training library, which he can visit in his lunch break to learn the skills he needs for promotion. To inspire and motivate Jim, you assign him projects that will stretch his skills and knowledge base. Instead of being overwhelmed, he expresses excitement about the opportunity. After your talk, Jim takes your advice and starts making the most of his time in the office. He works on his project with dedication and impressing both you and your boss. Can you identify this leadership style? All right, I get responses. Coaching, yeah, absolutely. Coaching. I think you all are correct. It is coaching. Awesome. We're doing great here. Although the holidays are coming up, this is the next one, guys. Although the holidays are coming up, your boss is pressuring you to improve your team's numbers by the end of the quarter, which is only a few weeks away. Your team is motivated, but they are also tired. They're not looking forward to a last-minute push right before their break. You decide to move forward anyway. They can handle the pressure, and if they can meet their performance goals, they'll be rewarded with a great end-of-year bonus. So you get them fired up for one last time, asking everyone to work extra hours to ensure success. You also work extra hours yourself, and you help anyone who falls behind. Now, this is a little bit tricky, but let's see. Can you identify this leadership skill? Let's see. Absolutely. Pace setting. Absolutely correct. Awesome job, you guys. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Your department has lost money over the past 2 quarters, and you're anxious to reverse this. You know that you can't figure out how to make your department profitable soon. Something radical and unpleasant will have to be done to stem the losses. You call a meeting with your team and explain the situation. You ask them if they have any ideas that could turn the department around. Then you give them the floor. For the rest of the meeting, all you do is listen. Your team members talk through their options and you reach a consensus on what to do next. Oh my God, before I finish, I do have, yep. Yes, yes, yes. That's a democratic person. When you want others to think or, to share ideas with you and you're asking them for their opinion, that is definitely a democratic person. Good job, guys. Thank you. Let's see. Okay. Dapo has learned that his CEO is stepping down. As of today, as the executive vice president, he's naturally, but right now the board is in turmoil. Everyone is trying to decide what to do before the financial markets open and shares plummet on the news. He tries to collaborate with some of his allies, but everyone has their own idea of what needs to happen. The team is arguing constantly, and Dapo realizes that nothing is going to get done unless someone takes charge. He starts issuing orders to those closest to him, almost without thinking. His tone is firm and authoritative, and there is no room for debate. Quickly, the room quiets down and he outlines what needs to happen within the next few hours. He ends up quieting the fears of everyone in the room, and things get done quickly. Having passed the crisis, he switches to a more democratic leadership style, respecting the experience and expertise of his executive team. Oh, okay. Let's see what the chat says. Commanding, absolute, or the coercive. Commanding, coercive, yeah, one and the same. Absolutely correct. Awesome job, guys. Awesome job. So as you can see with all these scenarios that we have shown so far, you can use one style depending on the situation that you find yourself in. Again, remember, one style will come naturally to you. One or two or even three of the styles will come naturally to you. It's up to you to learn the other styles and to also learn which situation calls for what. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Discussion question, because you all know that I would like to ask all these questions. Now, who is a leader you admire and what qualities do you like about that person? Who is a leader you don't like and what qualities don't you like about the person? You're welcome to answer both or one in the chat. You're also welcome to speak. So if you do want to speak, you can raise your hand and Lucy can call upon you. All right? So I'm heading over to the chat. Who is a leader that you admire and what qualities do you like about the person? Can you view the scenarios with the answers again? Absolutely. Thank you for asking. I can go back. Give me a second. As soon as I can get my mouse to work. Yes, we can. Absolutely. Why not? Let's go back to the very top, to the very start. All right. I think this is the first one. And this is your authoritative leader. I'm going to give you a few minutes to read that if you so desire. And this is your affiliative person. All right. This is your coaching. This is your pace setter, the performance person who likes to push people to their limit. That's how I describe this person. Push me to my limit. But they're very high performance driven people. So we do need these leadership styles, absolutely. All right, and this is your democratic leader who wants to hear everybody's voice and ideas and wants us to reach to a consensus before we move forward. There are certain situations that don't require this because you're going to be wasting time. But if you're not in a hurry and we don't have high stakes and there is no crisis situation, this is definitely a style to adopt. And hopefully this is where we want to be most of the time. Nobody wants to work in high pressured environment all the time. All right, and this is your coercive or your commanding leader. This is when there's a crisis and we need to jump in hard. This is definitely the style that you need. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know who John OBD is, but he uses A coaching style of leadership. All right, I'm waiting for your responses. Who is the leader you admire, and what is the qualities that you admire, and who is that leader that you're like, nope, this is not working for me, or I don't like this, and what are the qualities that you don't like? You're very much welcome, LG. So I'm waiting for our responses. If you need to say something, guys, it's okay to say something. Just raise your hand, and I'm sure Lucy or any other person can call you to speak. Who is a leader that you admire and why? What is the quality that you admire about the person? And who is a leader you don't admire? You don't have to call people's names, guys, if you're worried about that. You can just say my boss, or you can just say my teacher, or you can say my colleague. You know, you don't have to say someone, you don't have to call someone's name. You can even say my mother or my father, you know, because we're all leaders, regardless of where we are. You know, so some people are conferred leadership because they manage a team, because they are the manager or supervisor, but each and every one of us is a leader. Late Nelson Mandela. Why do you like, what is the qualities of Mandela that you like? All right, Lucy, your people are quiet. All right. My V, okay. What is it about your V that you like? All right. Okay, my VC, he's democratic. Okay. So clearly, you know, most of us like democratic leaders. So, but like I said, though, some of all those leadership styles is important. So don't think that one is bad. No, one is, they're needed at different times and at different situations. All right. So now that we know who we are, we know the kind of leadership styles out there. We also know there's a difference between a manager and a leader. And I'm just going to quickly take us through those differences. My mentor, I don't like our class representative. He doesn't care about our opinion. Hopefully, we're not talking about your class representative for this training, for the SHIACS Africa training. You're talking about your class representative at your school. Hopefully that. All right, but thank you for sharing. He doesn't care about our opinion, absolutely. And most people want their opinion to be heard. So I definitely hear you, Marcella. I definitely hear you. All right, so managers versus leaders. Just one slide here, because we're almost at the end of our training. The boss drives employees, but a leader coaches them. Remember, a good leader, the goal of a good leader is to create future leaders as well. And the only way you can do that is to coach people, okay? The boss depends on authority. Remember, you're only a boss because someone put you there. But a leader or even a coach depends on goodwill. It's important that I build relationship and on the goodwill of people so that we can move our vision and our goals forward. The boss inspires fear, but the leader generates enthusiasm. I want you to be happy where you work. I want you to be happy at what you're doing. I want you to be happy doing what you're doing. All right? The boss says, if things go wrong, I will be responsible. But the leader says, we share in this. We're in this together. All right? We need our company to move forward. The leader says, we are a team. All right? Now the boss places blame for the breakdown, but the leader fixes the breakdown. The leader is asking, okay, I know how I can fix this side. Do I have someone on my team that can fix this other side? So that let's fix this. Let's fix the breakdown. We don't have time to blame people. Now the boss knows how it is done, but the leader shows how it is done. And if the leader doesn't know how or can show how it is done, the leader knows who to ask to show how it is done. So a good leader also understands, I don't know everything and I can't do everything, but I know so and so person can, and I'm going to lift that person up to be able to do it. The boss uses people, but the leader develops people. The boss takes credit because, remember, the boss says I. So when things are wrong, I get the blame. And when things are great, I get the credit. But the leader gives credit. The leader knows that the success of the team, the organization, the project, whatever, it's not dependent on the leader alone. It was because of everybody's work. And so therefore gives credit. The boss commands, but the leader asks. So the boss says, do this. But the leader says, can you do this? Are you able to do this? How can I help you to do this? The leader says, go. The boss says go, but the leader says, let's go. Let's do it together. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when it's important for the boss hat to show up. But as leaders, where we want to be most of the time is to be on the leader side, not on the boss side. That's what I want to leave with you all today. I think we need a blended leader, a bit of this and that. I don't like leaders that kind of emotionally blackmail, bully you to make you work. And I agree with you. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. We need a blend because we definitely need a blend. And one of the most profound reasons that we need a blended leadership style is because everybody is not the same. Remember the callers. We are not all the same. So while a ballet requires a democratic leader, somebody else requires the commanding and the coercive leader. So I totally agree. We do need a blend of different leadership styles. Absolutely. So the question for you today is, and then you don't have to respond to this question. It's just something for you to think about and to reflect upon as you continue to grow in your career. What type of leader are you? And what type do you want to be? These are the two questions I want you all to reflect on as you grow in your career. What type of leader are you? Because yes, you may not have a leadership role right now, but you are a leader today. And the type of leader you are today can determine the type of leader or boss you will be in the future. And what type do you want to be? So all of us can acquire leadership skills because we know we have the sayings, leaders are born, not made. Okay, but leadership skills can be acquired. Leadership skills can be honed. All right, so let's think about that, absolutely. And then I do have some reading recommendation for you. John Maxwell's books. He's great. I'm a fan of John Maxwell. So, and I'm just going to start with the 21 most powerful, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. That's where I would want you to start. If you want to read a book on leadership, and there are many out there, but I'm just personally a fan of John C. Maxwell. Read the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and also read the 21 most powerful minutes in a leader's day. But John Maxwell has so many books out there for you to read if you so desire. But these are just my recommendation. So thank you all very much for listening. It was a pleasure for me to come here and hopefully chat with you guys and share this little nugget of knowledge with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
All right. Any questions for me? Please go ahead and ask. I think until Lucy dismisses us, it's 3 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sebele. So do we have any question? Yeah. Lovely lectures. Sebele, this is awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It is awesome. Do you have any question?
All right. Thank you. Very well explained. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So go forth and be great, you all. Go forth and be great. I know I'm talking to future leaders. I'm talking, what type of a leader am I? You know what, though? Maybe Lucy can answer that question. Lucy, what type of a leader do you think I am?
Oh.
Don't worry, I won't get mad.
Let's say this together.
All right, Lucy. All right. What I think personally, I think and I do have a blend of all of them. Really, I do because guys, I've learned to do this over time. But when I started off, and I'm going to be honest, when I started off as a commanding person. That is my natural ability to command, and that's who I am. But over time, I have learned to be a coaching leader. I've learned to be empathetic to others. So I've learned to be affiliative. Um, I used to also be the pace setter, the high expectations, high. I don't care what you're doing until life started happening to me, and I suddenly realized, oh my goodness, you know. So yes, I have been on that terrible spectrum, if you want to call it that. I don't want to call it that, but I have been on the side that doesn't work well with people, you know. But over time, I've learned to I've learned all these other skills. So yes, I am quite blended right now. And yes, I think I want to tend towards being a coaching leader as opposed to being an authoritative person. A visionary leader is not something that comes naturally to me because again, I'm not the orange type or I'm not. I just I'm very introverted, so I like to keep to myself. You know, so the visionary leader is something that I aspire to be, and hopefully one day I'll get there. But thank you all, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
All
And
right, thank you so much, Mrs. Ebele. Thank you so
absolutely.
much. So, so,
Thank
so,
you.
so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right,
Bye-bye.
have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow during the presentation. All right. Bye,
Hi,
everyone.
Bye.
Lucy.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to know what time our session is tomorrow.
Oh, I will send an email regarding that shortly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But it will be between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. or 2
All right,
p.m.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.